Daredevil Born Again has arrived on Disney+. And does it arrive to thunderous applause? Yeah, it looks like it. So far, most of the internet seems to be praising the show. I am not. I've seen both episodes, and it breaks my heart that 1, people are subscribing to Disney Plus to watch this, and 2, that they're going to say it's good. It's not good. And it doesn't live up to the legacy of the first 3 seasons. Now, they're going to say it's good because we've been so inundated with garbage television and garbage films from Disney Marvel that this is going to feel like a vacation. This is going to feel refreshing and new. But if you read into it just a little more, you'll see how hollow this show is. Within the opening 15 minutes, Daredevil Born Again undoes almost all of the character arcs that were completed in Season 3. This show is, once again, what Disney does best: take on legacy properties and bastardize them to sell ad slot time. Spoilers ahead for Daredevil Born Again. Welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, where we're posting new videos nearly every day. To be clear, I did not subscribe to Disney Plus to watch this. I will be watching this show at my friend Jack's house so that I can review it for all of you here. My channel brand is built around asking you to cancel Disney Plus. I certainly wasn't going to undermine or betray that for this Disney slop crap. And I should say, I actually scripted a video that was meant to air a few days ago saying that you do not need to subscribe to watch this. It's okay if you skip it. Seasons 1 through 3 on Netflix were great. That was a good ending point. There will be tons of YouTubers giving the play-by-plays on this show, so you might as well just watch them instead. And I did not put that video out on the hunch that there was a chance that this show could break the mold. I still had a shred of hope that this could be good. And are there elements that are good? Well, sure, the acting is fantastic. And that's about it. Like, I don't usually hate on camera angles or camera shots. Like, I'm not a stooge about camera angles. But there were even some camera shots that annoyed me. Let's get the good stuff out of the way. The acting is good, and at the end of the day, this is the most interesting and well-done show that Disney Marvel has done. It doesn't feel like a conventional Disney Plus show, so that's a good thing. But that does not make the show satisfying when the story is intended to undo the growth experienced in the first 3 seasons. This show opens on Foggy, Karen, and Matt going to the bar. If you don't know who these people are, don't worry. The show does not do a good job introducing them either, which means that this show is predicated on you knowing who all of them are already, which means this isn't a new series, it's Season 4. Now, I don't have a problem with it being Season 4, but if this really is Season 4, then that means all the character arcs that were experienced in Season 3 should remain intact going into this. But then Bullseye shows up and brutally murders Foggy Nelson. Yes, Disney writers doing what they do best, killing off legacy characters. Because it's truly a requirement, if you're going to work for Disney, that you kill off legacy characters in order to be the catalyst to make your plot happen. Now, fans have speculated about this character's death for years, and it's one that I never thought they'd actually do because, to my knowledge, Foggy doesn't die in the comics, or at least he doesn't die in the 616 canon. Now, I don't buy Marvel Comics anymore, so that may have changed. But he specifically doesn't die, and my rationale behind that is that Foggy Nelson is supposed to be Matt Murdock's Aunt May, or Alfred. He's Matt's best friend, but not like a mentor as Alfred would be. He's someone that keeps the superhero human. He humanizes Matt Murdock. Same thing for Jimmy Olsen and Superman. This is why I hated how they unceremoniously murdered Jimmy Olsen in the Snyderverse for no reason at all. Zack Snyder did not either understand the importance of why Jimmy Olsen was there, and/or did not want to feature that importance in his iteration. So he brutally murdered him instead for the lulz, like some kind of sadist. It's very similar here. In early iterations of Born Again, it was rumored that both Karen and Foggy were killed off screen before this show even begins. Fans had to complain on social media to get Foggy and Karen back, and the writers, well, it seems they just didn't care. They just killed him off anyway in the opening act. This is a sign of weak writing. Daredevil Season 3 ends with Matt Murdock coming to terms with who he is, facing the inner darkness he has going up against a villain that is almost too big to beat, and then he overcomes that. He reaffirms that he is not a killer even when his friends' lives are in danger. He won't let evil win. So he throws Bullseye off a building in the opening act of Born Again. Yeah, Foggy gets shot, and they try to do another hallway fight scene. Now, last we saw Bullseye, he was getting turned into a super soldier. Okay, so why is he out of breath and winded during this fight? Why is he limping along here? He went toe-to-toe with Kingpin and Daredevil without getting winded and beaten up like this, and then Matt throws him off a building. This is a trifecta of writers didn't know how to make plot happen, so let's kill off Foggy, because we don't know what else to do with his character. Let's tie up Bullseye's plot for now by having him get walloped in this fight. Also, he survives getting thrown off a building for some reason, and, well, I'm just realizing this now as I'm reading through this script. You mean to tell me he gets his ass beaten to the point of huffing and puffing, but then shakes off getting tossed off a building in New York City? It's like, you're nitpicking. This writing's crap. And let's revisit the moment of attempted murder here. The entire first 3 seasons of the show is Matt Murdock battling with the desire to kill when he knows it's wrong. It's actually a fantastic discussion on how his Christian faith is challenged constantly. And even though his family and friends and loved ones die in his hands all the time, he still doesn't let evil win. He still has the strength to see the best in people, that people can come back from evil. Season 3 ends with a wonderful argument where he's beaten the Kingpin, and Kingpin says he will never stop coming for him, that Matt has to kill him, and Matt says, no, you don't get to destroy who I am. I beat you. He's not talking about just the Kingpin. He's also talking about the temptation to become just as wretched and evil as the bad guys. It's actually beautiful writing. Disney throws this away by having Matt throw Bullseye off the building. Whether you think it was cool or not, whether you think it was deserved or not, Daredevil is supposed to be better than you and I in this regard. He's a superhero, which means he's supposed to be able to achieve and be capable of battling with the human emotions we all share, but then look it in the face and say, you don't get to destroy who I am. And there is the religious aspect there, which feels missing in this show. You can kind of tell. Maybe it's too soon to say, but there's only a flash of a moment where he's standing outside of a church and doesn't go in. I had hoped he would go in, but the writers wanted to waste time doing other things instead. Again, it's too close to call on this one. Just a hunch as of episode 2. But I could already hear many of you saying, Wizard, Daredevil drops Bullseye off a building in the comics. Yeah, he did, didn't he? So I guess by that logic, it means it's totally fine that it happened here, in this way, in the context of this storyline, right? And all right, let's follow that logic. Just because Reed Richards slaps his wife in the comics, it's okay for Pedro Pascal's iteration to slap Sue Storm in the upcoming movie, now isn't it? It's in the comics. Because even if it is in the comics, this wasn't the place for it. We just came off of a 7 or 8 year hiatus. The last time we saw this character, he was yelling in the face of the man who made his life hell, who empowered all of his enemies, who fostered more death and destruction than anyone else in Daredevil's life. Kingpin was tied to the death of Daredevil's father, and he still didn't kill him. Writing this as the launching point for this new Disney Plus show entirely devalues the importance of the previous seasons. Season 3 was fantastic, and it was a fantastic crescendo building up to this will he, won't he moment. And Disney Plus undoes that, all with a splat. But okay, where is the Kingpin at? What's he been up to? How can I complain about him too, right? Well, he was in Hawkeye, where he was shot in the face. He was in Echo, where he was given anxiety and depression. I don't really know what she did to Kingpin at the end of that series. And we pick up here, where his wife has taken over the criminal empire. She's the kingpin of crime now, and he, having been bedridden for an unknown amount of months, wakes up and decides that now he's going to run for political office. He's got a new lease on life, and he wants to become the mayor. Now, yes, this story arc is right out of the comics. What's not in the comics, at least to my understanding, is that Vanessa does not have an affair with the henchman. Yes, as if they hadn't done enough damage to the Kingpin character in the previous Disney Plus shows, this time, while Fisk is going through recovery after his battle with Echo, his wife seemingly has an affair with one of the goons. What a wonderful story, right? When I dreamed of seeing the Kingpin of crime return in a Disney Plus show, the first thing I imagined was that his wife was gonna put him in the cuck chair. Now, we're only 2 episodes in. Neither are really good for this particular plot development, and who knows where the story's gonna go, right? But I want to be clear, like, as of this point right now, they have inadvertently played out the red pill philosophy love story. Like, yeah, hear me out. Wilson Fisk starts with nothing, turns himself into a self-made man, commits everything he's built for this woman that he loves, and she's fiercely devoted to him too, and then he experiences a failure and needs to recover. So in that time of vulnerability, she sleeps with another man. In episode 2, we get to see this badass villain have to suffer through couples counseling, where Vanessa more or less says she's not in love with him anymore. Now, again, we're early on here. It could get better, right? I don't think so. I wouldn't put it past the Disney writers. And so here we are in Daredevil Born Again. There have been some great sequences, like with Matt and Fisk at the diner. This is some powerful stuff, but that's all being taken out of context here. Having a handful of engaging sequences does not a satisfying show make. They have replaced legacy characters with new faces that should have remained the old faces. They have set up plot points that I don't have faith in them delivering on. Like, having the dirty cops be tattooed with the Punisher logo in episode 2, that's not gonna go anywhere good. This show feels like it's missing momentum. Episode 2 is shorter than the first, and it feels like we're going to slip right back into streaming syndrome, where they take a story that could have been played out in a 90-minute feature, and they stretch it to death to make sure they get enough episodes in to charge your credit card for a couple of months. We're at the top of March right now. The final episode of this season drops on April 15th. That's 2 transactions on your credit card statement. Cha-ching. If you haven't started watching this, I would not now. If you really, really want to watch it, I would advise waiting until after the full season ends, and then we'll know whether it's worth your time or not. It's certainly not worth your money. There is nothing on Disney Plus that's worth your money, and that's why I'll end with this. If you haven't yet, cancel Disney Plus. There will be nothing more satisfying than knowing this massive show that is costing them a fortune to produce still results in a net loss of subscribers on the platform. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus. Thank you, bye-bye.